Good Monday evening, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. Having some technical difficulties with connecting to Facebook. It looks like there's some issues on that side of things, but we should be on Twitter and YouTube. Sorry to keep you waiting here on those platforms as we've been trying to get some of those bugs worked out. But now let's go ahead and get into that radar imagery right now. You'll be able to see what is happening as we get down towards St. John's and Flagler counties. You'll be able to see some of the action here on our Doppler radar technology as we get toward this region, and we're going to go ahead and zoom in actually as we go over to our other tool right now. You'll be able to get a better look at what is happening here towards southern St. Johns County as we look toward Hastings, Marineland. You can kind of see we do have some shower acts and even having some rumbles of thunder around it. I know you've kind of heard that if you've been in the Stark area, other spots in our region too. So just something to kind of keep in mind here as we go ahead and see some of our velocity tools that we can kind of give you here. You see there is some wind energy as we get down toward Hastings, but nothing too significant. So that's some good news as we're looking down there for the potential for any severe weather. Not really expecting that. I know there's a lot going on here today. We do have a tsunami warning as we get up toward Alaska as of the last little bit. I'm checking for the latest information on this now, and it does remain in effect. It seems the tsunami would have been moving in towards some of the other areas here over the last little bit, but the initial wave may not be the largest wave either, so that's something to bear in mind as well. I know the concern there as we look at some of our other maps: Sandpoint, Alaska, Cold Bay, Alaska, Kodiak, Alaska, and we'll go ahead and show you now here our viewpoint as we pop up the earthquake map. This was a 7.5 magnitude earthquake there off the Alaska Peninsula just a little while ago. So a tsunami warning means that a tsunami with significant inundation is possible or is already occurring. So we just need to go ahead and make sure people are being safe there, evacuating, following the necessary protocols in that region, because those are in place for a reason, to try to keep everybody safe here. So again, a tsunami warning in play there. Alaska Peninsula, watching that carefully. I'll broaden this out. You see Kodiak up to the north and east here, but just watching this here, a strong earthquake now. The earthquake waves maybe not translating there as we're actually feeling it, at least as we're looking over a wide area, but the tsunami threat is significant here just because of where it did occur, enough to at least prompt a tsunami warning here for part of the region. So again, we'll continue to track this and just follow along here with this situation. We'll see exactly what ends up happening there. Again, this is off the Alaska Peninsula there, where we had the 7.5 earthquake that occurred there at, it looks like, about 12:55 Alaska Daylight Time. So that's 4:55 Eastern Time there in toward that region. So a fluid situation, to say the least. We'll continue to watch it here. I'll come back on camera though for now, and we'll pop me back here. I'm just looking to see if Facebook ever started here, to see if we're kind of just joining in, and it doesn't look like we're getting anything over Facebook's way. So just still on Twitter and YouTube right now as we continue with this live update. Again, a tsunami warning in play off toward Alaska. Nothing like that around here though, and that is some good news. So again, we're looking toward Hastings here, in toward parts of St. John's, in toward parts of Flagler counties. Again, we're watching here for some of the shower activity, and just to see if anything gets a little more robust. Now, in terms of temperatures, a little cool here with some of this cloud cover around. You can kind of see that disparity. 80 toward Tallahassee. We have 73 Jacksonville, 73 Gainesville. You kind of get the idea here. Cooler weather off toward the east, and just again watching for that here as you look into toward southern Georgia as well. We have 70s on the board here in southern Georgia. Some of those areas like Albany, you're seeing 77 in Dougherty County right now. So rainier weather here down toward the south and east, a little warmer weather as we're looking toward the north and west. Some of you watching from the Tallahassee area on Facebook, or excuse me, on Twitter, wondering maybe what is going on here in terms of the rain, and you're not seeing too much of that, but that's going to ultimately infiltrate the picture here as we're looking ahead in toward the timeline. So we'll just continue to watch for that here. I know there's some other interesting weather stories to talk about as I broaden the view out. We switch our radar over to winter mode because there's actually been some snow as we look here up toward the north. You can see some snow axing there toward Minneapolis right now. There's been some snow in Iowa, getting some accumulation there as we were looking toward Cedar Rapids earlier. I'll batten this up a while. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about here. This is what the radar looked like 4 hours ago. You can see Cedar Rapids there getting upward to 4 or 5 inches of snow, somewhere in that range. And then Des Moines here, even some spots over a half a foot. So something to watch for those areas here, getting that first snow really of the season as winter getting underway and those temperatures staying pretty cool. But again, we're watching just all sorts of different aspects on things right now, though. I do want to go ahead and take a look at some of our weather stem cameras. We'll go ahead and pop up those, and you'll be able to see what is happening here across the region. We'll go ahead and start off with the baseball grounds camera in toward Jacksonville, and you do see some of that rain on the camera lens there with those temperatures in the low 70s, mid 70s here as we're looking toward Duval County right now. As we do transition, though, we'll go ahead and take you over to the UF weather stem camera. I know that their football game against Missouri has been pushed as well now. As we get over there, you'll be able to see there is some clearing, though, in the skies at least. But that football game against Missouri now pushed to next Saturday because the coronavirus outbreak there still continuing to be an issue. And head coach Dan Mullen even tested positive for the virus. So again, we keep everybody in our thoughts and prayers that's been affected by the coronavirus. So it looks like they'll be playing straight through here from Halloween all the way into mid-December with that LSU game being rescheduled. No breaks, it doesn't look like, for the Gators. So that'll be something that I'll have to deal with. But on a more positive note right now, we're going to go ahead and transition over from Gainesville toward Tallahassee, where we have some really good news to talk about for my Seminoles. I know the sky kind of tells the story. Really nice conditions in toward Leon County, and the Noles pulled off the upset against North Carolina Saturday, beating the number 5 team in the country. So great of a victory for my Seminoles. Excuse me, it's the first time we've beaten a team there in the top 5 in 6 years, almost 6 years to the day. In fact, 6 years to the date, we beat Notre Dame. I was actually at the game there at Doak, and it was such an exciting one there 6 years ago. I'm talking about where we ended up beating the Fighting Irish. I kind of saw that winning streak. It looked like it was going to come to an end there that night. A penalty was called, though, against Notre Dame, and we ended up getting that victory, and then really such an exciting couple of years there for the Seminoles, of course, winning the 2013 national title there as we're looking even further back. And really, this is our biggest win of any win probably since the 2016 Orange Bowl against Michigan there in South Florida. We beat the Wolverines there in toward that contest at the end of December. So just something that was really intriguing to see the Noles getting back on track to some extent, it looks like, with first-year head coach Mike Norvell. Jordan Travis playing so well, giving the team the necessary energy, the necessary really firepower to beat the number 5 team in the country. Now, of course, some people might say, and I kind of agree with this, maybe North Carolina wasn't really the number 5 team in the country. Just looking back at things, looking at how they played, and the Noles did kind of let them get back in the game. We didn't score in the second half, but when we've been struggling like we have over the last few years, it's time to just kind of get back on track any way you can. And really, this was a great stepping stone in the right direction for the Seminoles. We'll now go ahead and transition away again to clear skies there toward Tallahassee. It kind of tells a story, but we're going to start watching some of that rain come into the picture as we're looking ahead in toward the timeline. So it's something for you guys to start looking out for there as well. But you kind of see that rain transitioning off from the east to the west there. We'll go ahead and look away from the weather stem camera right now, though. We'll get over to some other aspects we need to talk about here in the weather story. I know we have our radar scope computer up, so I think we'll go ahead and give you that vantage point on things right now. As some of this accent around, you'll be able to see what the radar is showing there, and kind of give you a insider's view here. It looks like it was kind of showing me a little old image, so I have to refresh things real quick, and you'll be able to see that some of this accent here is especially apparent around Hastings right now there in toward southern St. Johns County. So just watching that there in toward that region. Again, southern St. Johns County around Hastings getting into some of the heavier rainfall action. Now we're going to go ahead and get into that forecast here as we look toward our graphic system. And we'll start off with a tropics forecast. You'll be able to see what is going on here from that vantage point. A 10% chance of tropical cyclone formation as we're looking toward the Caribbean. That probability has gone down here as we're looking back from what we were watching here late last week, so that's some good news. But we do have epsilon out there now. We're going to be watching that too, and we'll give you a track on that, though. As we are watching that, we're really watching it from Bermuda because it's not going to affect the U.S. It doesn't look like. Definitely not the southeast. As you can kind of see here, the track going east of Bermuda, it does become a hurricane, though, and they'll be continuing to monitor the progress of the system off toward our east, but again, nothing to worry about here in the Sunshine State with epsilon. But we do have to continue to watch because we have still some more names that definitely could get used here. I would expect some more name storms here as we look ahead, and even though the probabilities have gone down with that system in the Caribbean, we just have to pay attention because there's still some ensemble models here, ensemble runs, I guess you could call them, trying to sow development here toward this area. As we do look ahead in toward the timeline, you just have to continue to pay attention because if something were to develop, maybe going toward the Gulf or even toward Florida, though some runs actually have it going toward Mexico, which would of course be good news for this region, but a little less concerned right now, but things could change quickly as we've seen all hurricane season. So stay tuned, continue to have that hurricane kit up to date throughout hurricane season as we do continue to watch the origins and tracks here. This is generally where you would see development toward the Caribbean, moving up toward Florida, so just kind of pay attention there. Your tropical climatology does tell the story here. Still some development possible, though. We're going to be looking here for this potential to go down as we get into November. But it's been a hyperactive season, so you just always have to be aware. And you see some moisture coming up from the south here over the next 7 days. We'll watch. You see the Keys getting quite a bit of rain. I know they got a lot of rain with Sally as we're looking way back there. Some of the most rain they've really seen in years and years, maybe even since Katrina there, as we're looking back in the timeline and toward that region. And you see even toward southeast Florida, quite a bit of rain. They've seen quite a bit of rain down there, so could have some flooding concerns. And we're not seeing as much rain as we get toward north central, northeast, the Big Bend here. And you're seeing maybe around an inch or so, give or take, over the next 7 days. In southern Georgia, depending on where you're at, about an inch, maybe a little less here as we continue to watch for the isolated spots picking up a little more rain. I mean, today, even over the last 12 hours, we've seen some spots as we get over here toward Clay County, pick up around an inch or so. So that's something always you have to be cognizant of. But now we're going to go ahead and get that extended outlook, your 4-day planner, and you see 60% chance of rain here tomorrow. So again, have that umbrella on hand. But those rain chances here falling some as we get toward Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But that's more just a matter of the overall scenario here where we don't have enough confidence in raising them to 60%. But you still have to be on guard here. You see those temperatures to have something new here, comparing them to the average high, average low here. And 78 is your average high for this time of year in the Jacksonville area. 61 that average low, and we're above that here in that next 4 days. So hopefully eventually we'll get below that here as we get further into toward fall. Maybe we'll just kind of get some cooler air trying to infiltrate the region. Maybe we'll see something next week. I've seen some of the models trying to put some cooler air toward the region. So something to maybe look forward to. But we're just going to be watching here the temperatures, your low mid 80s here in Store, and then Tallahassee, Valdosta, you see the lower rain chance tomorrow. But going back up as we get later into toward the week, you see those mid 80s here on the board, those mid 60s, upper 60s really, as we look here toward Thursday and Friday especially. You see that really pronounced getting near 70, and they're also above average for this time of year. So now we're going to go ahead and go over to the radar again, give you another vantage point. Once again, I'll zoom out a little bit just to kind of see where some of that moisture is right now. And we'll go ahead and pop up radar scope. You'll be able to see what is happening toward Hastings and toward even Stark, getting some of this light axe. And you see Jacksonville, we saw it on the camera as well. Some rain there, so something to definitely pay attention to. Now I'll be back with another update tomorrow that'll exclusively be on that Facebook platform. Long as things are working with Facebook, hopefully we'll be able to stream to that. And I also just want to congratulate the Tampa Bay Rays on getting to the World Series as well. Hopefully they can get that upset really, as what you would have to call it, against the Dodgers as we're looking ahead into toward the timeline. I know the Atlanta Braves trying to get there, couldn't quite do it, but still the future's bright for them, a young team. So hopefully they can get back there as we're looking ahead in the timeline. But again, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Rays. Congratulations to the Florida State Seminoles as well, and that huge upset win, getting that program needing win here. I don't want to call it program changing win, but a win that the program definitely needed here. And I see some lightning there on Hastings right now, set up on my lightning tracker. Just something that we'll continue to watch here too. So we'll be back tomorrow. I know some of you are looking ahead toward that Bradford PK Yun game as we get toward, Bradford Palaca game. Bradford beat PK Yun on Friday, but now playing Palaca this Friday, so something to look forward to there as well. But for now, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great night, everybody, and enjoy things.